when you hear somebody say a 5-year-old girl, you know, that just died, and a dead daddy, and all that. When did we get to this point, man?
So let me first start with saying this: we are all individuals. No one person gonna do what everybody else would do. You know, let me make sure I say we are all individuals. The next thing I want to say is, it's also gonna depend on the pair of lenses that you're looking at this through. You know, you're going to have some people on one hand saying, hey, man, the daddy put the baby in that situation. Correct. If the dad is saying it, I'm just saying what the dad is saying. Then you're going to have the other people who going to say, well, no matter what happened, you're not supposed to say this.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we going to talk.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think about the, when you look at people, I'm word this right because I don't want to get too far into it, but people, if you go up to Chicago when somebody died, they would celebrate their death, right? And they would smoke on whatever, all that talk. Well, you hear the other day online it's saying, "Fuck the dead baby." How did we get to this point, man? Where it's okay to celebrate people's death and smoke on people, you know what I mean? What made us get to this point? When did it get this bad? Because at the end of the day, it was unheard of before the internet. You didn't hear it. Somebody might have been doing it, but it wasn't so published in our face. When you hear somebody say, "Fuck a 5-year-old girl," you know, that just died, and a dead daddy, and all that. When did we get to this point, man?
So let me first start with saying this. We are all individuals. No one person gonna do what everybody else would do. You know, let me make sure I say we are all individuals. The next thing I want to say is, it's also gonna depend on the pair of lenses that you're looking at this through. You know, you're gonna have some people on one hand saying, hey, man, the daddy put the baby in that situation. Correct. If the dad is saying it, I'm just saying what the dad is saying. Then you're gonna have the other people who gonna say, well, no matter what happened, you're not supposed to say this. So that's why I'm saying it depends on the lenses that you are looking, you know, through this at. You know, me, where I'm from, coming up on, it's not something that Brewster would do. But who is Brewster to say why you wouldn't be doing it? Yeah. And this is 2025. Internet is the quickest way for individuals to get money. So if I know being polarizing, you know, is going to push me to being able to get to do that, that's what they're going to use.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I just, sometimes, some Kiki said last time he was here, man, I wish I could talk to Mark Zuckerberg or one of them guys, just tell them to shut it off. You know, just shut certain people channel off or certain things off. You know, I wish there was a cap on it, but then the freedom of speech thing becomes a thing as well, where each individual has their own setup, their own platform, their own, and everybody, not just me. It ain't just Boss Talk. Everybody got a cell phone and can go to work. And if you don't, now when you get of age, that's the first thing you do. Man, Mama, can I get an Instagram? Mama, can I get a
Facebook, TikTok,
can I get YouTube, a TikTok?
Yeah.
This is a thing that people are doing everywhere. So,
well, it's a form of, in today's time, in 2025, because I tell people that's coming home from prison and guys that's in the street, one of the quickest ways for you to get money is this tool right here that's in your hand. This right here, used properly, can get you a whole lot of money. Now, there's other individuals who have identified that within our culture, negativity sells. You know how they say sex sells? Well, negativity and drama sells. Definitely. So they're going to create it enough to where it's allowing them to, receive some paper from it.
Shock value.
Shock value, clickbait. Those are just the tools that whoever that person is. Yeah, they using them tools to be able to get them some paper.
I think it's like I said. I definitely think it's unfortunate, but then also. I just did a review on this last night where they cut the baby mama, the little daughter, and I'm not gonna stay on this too much longer, but they had built her up to $53,000 on a GoFundMe, and then I think she or somebody ended up shutting it down, but the people were criticizing her online because she was online with a lot of money to her ear, and she was celebrating the life of her daughter when they did the release of the balloons. And a lot of people was really bashing her for the way she was celebrating the life of her daughter, I guess is what I called it.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, some people calling it ratchet. Some people were saying this not the time for that. She took that money and she had a Louis V purse and she was flexing.
Right.
And they was really upset about that. I think Charlamagne even said something about it from what I'm hearing. I hadn't heard it, but somebody hit me up and said, man, he spoke on that. They was upset about that.
But she also mentioned what she said, though. Not only because she was holding the money, but didn't you tell me that she also said that she had that baby, she'll go have another one type of thing?
I heard that too. But
so let me say this. You know, everybody is online condemning the woman. Everybody is online talking down on her, got something to say. Why everybody ain't telling her we love you, man? Why everybody ain't telling her it's gonna be okay? Why everybody ain't, trying to console her and beat her for her? Because, granted, everybody do grieve however they see fit.
Right.
But my thing is, if everybody all these people that's online with all the negativity to say, if all of them say I love you, I think it'll humble her. She dealing with a lot of grief right now, and so the only way she know how to be able to defend, her daughter's honor and her baby daddy, she gonna stand.
Turn up.
I'm gonna turn up. I'm not gonna lay down. And she comes from a lifestyle of laying down. That's seen as a sign of weakness. So in her mind, I'm doing this for my baby daddy and my daughter. I'm gonna rep for them. So my thing is, do I agree with the method? No. But when I see it, my thing is to say, I love you, baby girl. It's gonna be all right. The streets is here for you. The community is here. Because us turning her down, that ain't gonna do nothing but make her stand even stronger. Because she can't go shoot nobody. She ain't got nobody to go beat up on. She ain't got no way to get this out. The only way I know to get it out is to rep. Let's go live.
Yeah.
Take a shot. Let's do this
for the baby.
That's the only way I know how to rep and go live.
And I thought about the fact of how it was definitely some people going back and forth with Get Money Lil Ronnie, and there was some stuff going on, and she might feel like if I don't show up and show strong, it look like I'm letting them down.
So from what Brewster saw, when I saw it, I was like, man, somebody need to give baby girl a hug. She need a hug. She need to know that the community is behind her. She needs to know that, man, we actively working on different ways to be able to prevent things like this taking place in our community. You know what I'm saying? Us turn her down, I just ain't on that. Wow. I just ain't on turn down the young lady. Yeah. Do I agree with what she's doing? No, but I do know it's a different way for us to reach out to her and be able to talk to her and hold her. Because she gon' rep.
Yeah.
Man, if something happened to me, mine is gonna rep. They standing on. Boy, listen. If something happens to me, my family, they gonna stand. They gonna rep. They gonna know like, we ain't laying it down like that over here crying and destroy. Especially in the public. When we out in public, you sure enough better poke your chin. Yeah. What it do? Take a shot. Yeah, you better. You know what I'm saying? She gonna rep even harder when in all honesty. That woman going through all types of things on the inside. She hurting. So everybody that's talking negative, send her a DM and say I love you. Send a DM and say it's gonna be okay.
I agree.
We quick to tear each other down, man. But at this point, and yes, I see what she's doing, but I also see that she just need a big hug from not one or two people, from the whole city. The whole Metroplex need to give her a big hug.
I agree with
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gon' talk.